Hey guys, Rexter here, and welcome back to a brand new Fnaf Security Breach Ruin video. In today's video, we will discuss the question everyone on the internet has been asking. What happened to Cassie at the end of Fnaf Ruin? We will also discuss the relationship with Gregory and why he betrayed her, and talk about the theories going around the Fnaf universe on whether this was even Gregory to begin with. Lastly, we will theorize about what the future holds for Cassie in the Fnaf lore. So what better place to start than the ending of Fnaf Ruin? As Cassie runs into the service elevator, just narrowly escaping the insane killer animatronic known as the Mimic.
Cassie, it's me. I think I need to explain a few things. You were never supposed to go to the Pizza Plex. That thing in the sinkhole tricked you. I really don't know what it is, but it's been trapped down here a really long time. The Mex's security program was designed to keep it hidden, but you shut down the security. And now it's free. It's not your fault. I know you did it for me, to save me. But we can't risk being followed. I'm sorry.
A familiar voice can be heard over the intercom.
No!
Gregory begins to explain to Cassie the truth behind the Mex's security system and why it was trying so desperately to keep her out of the Vanny network. He mentions that her shutting down the security system has released it, claiming that quote-unquote now it's free. He then apologizes to Cassie, saying that it's not her fault, and he knows she did all of this to save him. But what he says next will change everything. Gregory says we can't risk being followed before cutting the lines to the elevator and letting Cassie fall to her death, or so we thought. Now this last sentence sparks an insane amount of questions. Who is Gregory referring to when he says we? What does he mean by being followed? And who is he referring to? Now, assuming this is actually Gregory talking in the elevator, let's break this down a bit further. We will explore the counter argument to this a bit later, so make sure you stick around. So there are actually multiple ways you can approach the word we in this case, but I think it all comes down to which ending you believe is actually canon from Fnaf Security Breach. Now, many people believe the we refers to Glamrock Freddy and Gregory, since in the burn trap ending, they're seen running from the Pizza Plex as everything crumbles in ruin. But in all honesty, this theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You see, going back to Security Breach Ruin, we walked through the exact same spot where we last saw Burn Trap get pulled away from the blob, and it's completely intact. And Steelwool even tosses us a clear hint when Cassie says something along the lines of, "Why are there so many burners? It's like an oven in here," almost as if they wanted us to clearly see the burn trap ending was not canon. Now, if this ending wasn't canon, then which one is? And that's where my first theory comes into play. I believe that the we mentioned by Gregory is actually Gregory, Vanessa, and the head of Glamrock Freddy, as would be true only in the Princess Quest ending of Fnaf Security Breach. And this sparks an even more expansive theory, and the fact that I think the thing they don't want following them is actually William Afton. Now, this probably sounds really crazy, but hear me out. My theory is not that Gregory is afraid of William himself escaping through the elevator, but Cassie. You may be asking yourself, why? Why would Gregory not want his best friend to escape the horrible hells of the Mega Pizza Plex? And to answer that question, things get a little complicated. If you remember at the start of Fnaf Ruin, Cassie is given the Vanny mask. As she puts it on, we all know that in order to connect it, Helpy tells her it must pair with her occipital transponder, shortly after stabbing her in the eye and becoming connected to her neural network system, similar to that of Vanny. Cassie is now connected to the digital world of the Pizza Plex. Now we know initially, based off of yesterday's video, that this whole Vanny network was a way to find the transponders that were all around the Pizza Plex. And we spend the majority of the game searching for these transponders, shutting them down, and eventually disabling the MXES. Now, later we find that this was all a plot of the Mimic in order to allow himself to escape, tricking Cassie into believing that Gregory wanted her to do all of this, and eventually freeing him at the end of the game. But what if I told you that the Mimic was actually William Afton? Now, a lot of you guys have been leaving this comment in my videos, and I decided to dig a little bit deeper. And the more I think about it, the more that this theory could actually be possible. Now, as we know from FNAF lore, whether it's the books, games, or even in Help Wanted, William Afton has his soul uploaded to a digital realm. Thus the reason why he always comes back. Now, if we go back and think about this for a second, the plot of Fnaf Help Wanted explains that Fazbear Entertainment hired an indie developer who accidentally uploaded a malicious code to the old circuit board. This code takes the form of a sinister character known as Glitchtrap, who appears as a humanoid in a rabbit costume. Glitchtrap is ultimately revealed to be a digital ghost replica of William Afton, Fazbear's serial killer co-founder, who is attempting to escape the game by merging with a player. And this is the first proof that William is able to break the barrier between the physical realm and the digital realm. Now fast forward to FNAF Security Breach, where we actually get proof of this, as Glitchtrap is able to possess Vanessa, thus turning her into the horrifying serial killer, Vanny. Now of course, at the end of the Princess Quest ending, it looks like we get rid of Glitchtrap once and for all, breaking the spell on Vanessa and allowing her to be set free, releasing her from the Vanny mask, and leaving it somewhere in the Pizza Plex. That is of course until Cassie merges with it in FNAF Security Breach Ruin. So my theory here is quite simple. I believe that Gregory couldn't allow Cassie to escape the Pizza Plex, mainly because she is now the one and only thing connecting William Afton from the digital world to the physical world, and he just can't risk her becoming possessed or allowing him to transfer to another character, similar to the way that he did Vanny. And I believe Gregory knows that it's a little too late for Cassie at this point. You see, her brain is already connected to the Vanny network, and with the MXES completely out of the picture, Gregory knows that unfortunately William has full control over the entire network again, thus leaving Cassie compromisable and vulnerable to manipulation from Glitchtrap. So unfortunately, Gregory has one choice and one choice only. He has to trap Cassie in the Pizza Plex, thus giving us the ending of FNAF Security Breach Ruin as we know it, cutting the ties to the elevator and allowing her to fall down to the very bottom. Now, of course, we need to play devil's advocate here. What if the voice in the elevator wasn't actually Gregory? And of course, a lot of you guys have been leaving comments that it sounds glitchy and it doesn't necessarily sound exactly like Gregory. And I'll go ahead and entertain this. Let's say it wasn't Gregory and it was actually the Mimic. For one, how could he cut the lines to the elevator? Especially since the last time we see him, we chopped his arm off in the elevator shaft, leaving him at the elevator entrance. So let's say he had enough strength in one arm to slash the wires to the elevator and bring it down. Why would he even waste the time pretending to still be Gregory on the intercom? Why wouldn't he just slash the wires, as he was already chasing us to begin with, and we know he has the capabilities of pretending to be Gregory? There's no secret at this point. We know who he is, and we know what it's capable of. So I think it's useless at this point to even pretend to be Gregory. Don't waste the time, bro. Just cut the wire. Now, of course, I know a lot of you don't want Gregory to be evil, and I don't necessarily think he was just because he cut the lines to the elevator. I mean, think about it for yourself. You have to choose one friend or the rest of the world. If Gregory risks letting the Mimic or William Afton, whichever you believe is the case, escape the Mega Pizza Plex, everybody can be in a whole realm of danger. Now, of course, what happens next is Cassie begins to plummet to her death. Having the elevator wires cut, she just continues to fall. But we do know at the end of FNAF Security Breach Ruin, as it begins to fade to black, we hear Roxanne's voice saying Cassie. But what exactly does this mean? Well, for one, Cassie obviously did not die when she fell to the end of the elevator shaft. And for two, Roxanne, Beautiful Wolf, is still alive and kicking. So what does this mean for Cassie in the next game? Well, my theory is that Cassie will very much be alive in the next FNAF Security Breach, and she will be our playable character once again. I believe we're going to start off at the bottom of the Pizza Plex, slowly ascending up and finding more and more answers to the lore along the way. For one, who is the actual antagonist of FNAF Security Breach Ruin? Is it William Afton? Is it the Mimic? Or is it something much more sinister? If you ask me, I think Steel Wool has a lot more tricks up their sleeve, and I believe this whole Vanny network is going to come into play a lot more in the next game. You see, I believe that the majority of the next game will be spent in the digital realm, and I'm still open to the possibility that we can actually split time between two different characters in the next game. One showing the perspective of Cassie inside of the Mega Pizza Plex, and the other showing the perspective of Gregory on the outside. Then again, who knows? Maybe Steelwool wants to throw us a dark twist and make Cassie the new villain or Vanny. And how ironic would it be if Gregory actually had to come back to save her? Now, of course, this is a lot of theory, and I really would like to hear your opinion on this. So please, leave all the comments you guys want down below. I'd love to hear your opinion on what you think is going to happen to Cassie in the next game, who you think is the main protagonist in the next one, and of course, where you think the Fnaf lore goes from here. Regardless, we can guarantee one thing: this is only the beginning of the Fnaf security breach lore. Anyways guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. Thank you again for all of the support. It's been absolutely amazing how much love you've been giving to the series, and I really do appreciate it. I cannot say it enough. And if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications for more awesome content just like this. And check out the video that we did yesterday explaining the MXES, who created it, and why it's so important to the Fnaf lore. Anyways guys, thank you again for all love and support, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out!